understand who killed the dog was.
Well, I just think...
Mikey!
Dude, what's up?
How are you?
Good, man. I'm great, actually. How are you doing?
I am so excited for today. Listen, all you listeners, everyone watching, you have no clue. I'm giddy today. I'm giddy with, where am I looking at? Right here?
Yes.
Is that me?
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm so freaking giddy today for many reasons. One, I got different headphones. I heard all you. Take the damn cordless things off, Jim. Your microphone is, it's just, so a couple things I want to tell you guys. I'm so freaking, I'm having someone come to my house and build a podcast studio. We're going to have a mic, and I already told Mike, I may even have Mike come down. I bought the computer, I got everything, but it's time. I'm starting to get guests like I have today, and between who we've had already, they deserve professionalism, Jim Breuer professionalism. And what I like the setup I'm going to have is I'm going to be standing at times. Like I want to be in my garage, moving around. I don't want to be sitting. I'm not a sitter. I want to be able to look at the camera. I want a mug going through on the chest. So, and I want to be staring. See, this is what I get. You know what I get? I'm in a closet still, and I get my wife going, "Can I see the?" Yeah, they can. So you told me this is the only place I can do it. This is all I got. I buy a new house. Jim Breuer has the closet. How about that? So also, I was in Sarasota this week, and phenomenal shows. I always go there. I think that's my favorite place to work out material. I do like Tampa, but I think Sarasota is my place. I filmed both sets, so and pushed a lot of buttons. And it's funny, the more buttons I push, the more people like what is being said. So the good news is a lot of people think alike. I'll tell you that right now. And there's a lot of the circus is playing right now. I want to keep all of you on track with the circus. When at war, what do? Cut your supplies. Okay? They drive the East Coast and West Coast into the gutter. And then what do they make the people do? Beep, beep, beep. Take the guns away. Take the guns away. If you can't see the BS that's being fed to you and manufactured, I don't know what to tell you anymore. It's just, get out of the way. Get out of the way. I'm sure when Paul Revere was galloping amongst the streets saying, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" There were a couple morons going, "Shut up, you conspiracy theorist." I'm sure there were some bananas going, yeah, we're being invaded. Yeah. I'm sure Paul Revere didn't stop and gallop up and go, "No, seriously, you see their big goofy red hats? They're coming to take our country over. You need to let." We ain't got no more time for that because it's happening. They're hitting Texas hard, because they know that's a gunslinging state. So beware. They're coming for you. They're coming for your heart. Who they are, that's something we all have to find out. So I think everyone that likes the bunker will really enjoy today too. Let me just tell you something. When COVID broke out, there wasn't a lot of things besides my own self, looking within myself, spirituality, meditating, whatever you want to do it, that really made me think deeper, made me feel deeper, and made me want to put things out there. But I gotta say, the person that's coming on today helped me so much. So much. My wife and I would always watch this guy. And what he's funny. He's freaking brilliant. He's common sense. And I would just every time I kind of feel what I'm feeling, I would turn this guy on, and I found him on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, I never heard of half the people I talked to until all this madness broke out. JP Sears, I didn't. It's no disrespect to JP, I didn't know, but thank God this madness is what brought us together. You guys all know Eddie. Me and Eddie Bravo have been nonstop. We're like two brothers now that talk to each other all the time. We laughed so hard. I was on his podcast last week. We were dying. But this guy, you gotta follow him, and you gotta check out his videos and go back, because the common sense level and the non-political, this guy is non-political in my opinion, and I'm not either. If you haven't figured that out, I'm not either. But they try to make common sense politics now. And this guy, he just, every time I felt, when you have a nice, refreshing drink, it's a really hot day, you got swamp ass, you sweat, you got beads on your face, and then you have a nice, perfect, cool drink, and you go, oh my God, that was so refreshing. That's what this guy brought to me, and he continues to bring to me. There's not many guys out there, there's not many people out there that I truly believe are coming from a place where they mean it. Some I think are doing it for the money. Some I think are doing it for the popularity. And hey, all to them. But this guy, in my opinion, is the real deal. And the videos that he puts out there, I highly suggest all of you to really look them over, and don't just look at 1 and 2. Scroll, go back a year, go back 2 years. They're incredible. He's funny, he's charming, he's real. I only know him as Dream Rare. I think it's Dream Rare. I'm like, what is Dream? And An0maly. So please welcome my guest, An0maly.
Man, that was high praise. I appreciate it. I almost feel like I'm a boxer. I got to go fight somebody now. Like I'm so hyped up off my own intro. I want to hit someone. No, I'm just kidding. But appreciate you.
Yeah, that was a big. And in this corner,
who I got to go for? No, I'm just playing. Appreciate that a lot. I feel hyped. That was better than my coffee. I'm like, all right.
Where are you? Where are you based out of?
I'm in sunny Southern California, Orange County.
Oh wow. Okay. Like around Irvine or?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in LA for 8 years, but then with the lockdown stuff, and I could just tell it was going to be lockdown heavy. I was like, either I got to get to a conservative area, California, or I got to, go away. And really, with COVID, it kind of made everything crazy where wasn't even so much the conservatism as the like, oh, I could eat at a diner here. People would come from LA and be like, oh, you can eat indoors? I'm like, dude, we've been eating indoors for a year. And they didn't even know that, even though it's like a couple hours away. So it's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. I was like that when I went to Florida. The first time I went to Florida, they're not wearing masks. They're sitting in clubs and restaurants next to each other. Like, what is going on? Which I even said, I said this last night. The nonsense, if any state should prove to you what nonsense this is, it should be Florida. Didn't close, no mask, no mandate, everyone's 75 and over. Half the population should be dead in Florida, which is why they hate DeSantis. They're like, this, he is against he's creating turmoil for our situation of controlling the people. It's not working. I'm waiting for something big to go down in Florida because they're not gonna. This guy's just getting away with too much. I mean, we love it, but he's getting away with a lot.
Right. And in the world too, like, there's places like Africa that really didn't do a lot of the restrictions and stuff. And I remember an article that said scientists are mystified why Africa's doing so well. And then at one point in 2020, the heaviest lockdown area, I forget which country it was in South America, actually had the highest death rate per capita. So strictest lockdown, highest death per capita, mystified. Florida never got as bad as they said. But that's the crazy part with this stuff. Even reporting on it, they're like, trying to fact check all this. I'm like, I'm very factually accurate, but they have an excuse for everything.
Well, you made a great video. You made incredible video showing that. It was a Bill Gates one, and you showed Bill Gates. He's I'm not gonna say he's fat. He's fat. He's got boobs. He's a
big
mess.
bones. He's big boned.
Yeah,
like Cartman. Yeah,
he's
husky. He's husky.
He's a mess, and he's a complete mess. He's got stains on his shirt. He's got boobies, man boobies, and he says in his own video, he says, we should do what Australia did and the rest of the world. And then you showed the statistics of Australia. What a disaster that was for locking everyone down. You look at all the areas that lock people down, they're a disaster. They didn't do good. They're a disaster. And then you showed where people didn't lock down and how they thrived. And it's just, isn't it amazing the power of the television? Just, we gotta get grandma back in the basement.
Fact check. Bill Gates is my best friend. I agree with everything he says.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah,
he's brilliant.
He's brilliant. Yeah, can't disagree with billionaires except Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So you got to trust billionaires except for the ones that we don't like. I think that's the rule.
They are the Antichrist. Okay. All right. Good. We get away with this video now. So, when did you start doing this? Because by trade, and again, I apologize. I didn't even know you were a musical artist. And then I would watch the videos, which I want everyone to see. I'm going to show some during this. When you're a musician, like where'd you come from, man? When did you start posting, and why was it because of COVID is when you started posting all your stuff?
So no, things just kind of blew up during COVID extra because I think everyone was trapped in their house and not a lot of people were talking about it, but I started just rapping. I was 19, 18 years old, uploading to YouTube with like crappy cameras. And I was like, as somebody that had no label or anything, I was like, this is such a great way to get out there. I'll freestyle, I'll do live performances. So I had a couple million views when I was like 19, 20. And at the time, I actually had some big major label meetings, independent meetings. And I always wanted to be like an underground rapper. I liked like the authentic stuff. And they kept telling me, don't rap about politics. And I didn't even know politics, but I guess I would say like conspiracy theory lines. And they were like, put on Abercrombie and like dance and talk about women. Don't do that. And I was just like, nah, I don't think that's going to work. So my career really never flourished, just YouTube videos and stuff. In 2016, it was like Bernie versus Hillary. I just saw how the media was in the bag with Hillary, and Bernie was like, oh, he doesn't even have a chance. It's over. And it didn't even start. So I started converting from just rapping to doing like talking videos, and then through the Trump era, and then in 2020. So I would say 4 years, I just started vlogging, which I would consider easier. You don't need a beat. You don't need production. You could just get up here and start shooting the shit. So it worked out for me.
Isn't it amazing how just being authentic and just telling the truth of how you see it, how many people resonate? It's interesting too. People like yourself, I would try to show. Again, I call it the Paul Revere syndrome, or the it's not on TV syndrome. I'd go watch this guy. Like, first of all, they're already judging how you look. They're already
Understandable. I got a Bob Ross shirt on. I'm not the most tuxedoed guy out there, but
But this is what I love. This is what I love about whatever you want to call it, the Great Awakening or whatever. I call it the People's Express, the death of media journalism, which, in my opinion, all media is the purest evil form of humanity, the biggest lie and the biggest enemy. The biggest enemy. Let me say that to everyone again who's watching and listening. Media is the truest, most evil enemy of the human race. I will not back down from that. They're disgusting. They're disturbing. They cause wars. They cause riots. They cause emotional distress. They need to be banished, all of them. Now, let's go to our sponsor. Anyway, today, Twinkies.
I love Twinkies. Oh, sweet. Can I get one?
So this is why, and you're always right there with everything going on. I want to show everyone this whole gun thing going on and a video you just recently put out there. Mike, can we go to the first video? And I think which is so funny, it's Biden. And I'm not going to lie to you. I just had this debate with my wife. I don't think this is Joe Biden. I don't know if it's a character Disney created. I don't know if it's someone with a mask. I don't know if it's a robot. I don't know if it's computer animated. I don't know. I just want you, the people, to prove to me that is a human being and that is the same Joe Biden from 7 years ago, because I don't see it. But play this video, Mike.
We should repeal the liability shield that often protects gun manufacturers from being sued for the death and destruction caused by their weapons. They're the only industry in this country that has that kind of immunity.
If you hit somebody with your car, does the car manufacturer take liability and responsibility? If you stab somebody with a kitchen knife, does the kitchen knife company have to take responsibility? I'm pretty sure Joe Biden's lying. The #1 lobbyist in Washington, Big Pharma, has no liability for side effects and adverse reactions for their COVID vaccine, which they're trying to mandate on the masses. And recently, left-wingers are throwing an absolute fit that Special Olympians' families are allowed to decide whether they get the shot or not. And thanks to Governor Ron DeSantis, people who opted out are allowed to play in Florida. Are the fact checkers going to fact check Joe Biden? No, because they're little fraud clown liars. They'll probably continue to put false on my true videos that threaten their agenda of hypocrisy, lies, big pharma cover-ups.
What a simple point. So if you die of cancer, are we going after all the products that cause cancer? If someone gets stabbed, are we going after the manufacturers that make knives? It is such this gun thing, in my opinion, is, I do think we're at a war. That's just my own opinion. I don't know how you feel, but they're clearly trying real hard to take the guns away. They're trying really hard, for whatever reason, to get these out of people's hands. And I don't know how you feel about that, or if you have any thought on that. I notice you kind of play a thin line too.
No, I definitely see that. And the people involved, like, you could tell authenticity where it's like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're all going to sacrifice a little to be safer, but they're not doing that. For instance, I just had a friend that got robbed, and apparently it's from these like South American strategic like criminals that are like cutting glass, like they're really professional, and they're robbing like thousands of houses in America. It's not to say everybody that comes obviously is not like that, but it is happening. And it's really easy because if they get caught, they just get sent back. Like, they're just like, they don't even care. They're like, yeah, I'm going back to the millions of dollars I stole here. So if they were like, hey, we're going to limit gun restrictions for this reason, we're going to make schools safer, but we're also going to take the border seriously, maybe I would think, even if I didn't fully agree, like, okay, those people, like the classic left versus right debate, I don't, I see it, but we got to find a compromise. They're not those type of people. They just want to restrict us. It's like you literally get more freedom and rights sometimes if you come over illegally, where I'm not one of these people. I get it. Everybody's got to hustle in this world. Not everyone's born in America, but it's like they'll literally give them more things. And it's like, oh, you can't even go to your business if you don't get the shot, but these people can come across. And it's like, wait, this is clearly not fair. So it's like the people running the show are so obviously not authentic. They so obviously don't care about crime and murders. There's murders happening by the dozens in Chicago. Thousands of people, kids, adults, innocent people have died, but nobody wants to talk about it because racially, politically, it's not this narrative that they can push to achieve something. So yeah, I fully agree with you. It's getting obvious and bad timing, I think, to do the gun grab 2 years after they locked everybody inside and allowed these riots to happen nationwide, because gun sales went through the roof. And I think gun control was at a decade low after the George Floyd riots, because the media was like hyping it up. I watched my neighborhood just get destroyed. I mean, things were burning to the ground and the media is just like, we don't see it. And it's like, I do. So, I'm out.
Yeah. And that is one of the most frightening things. And this is why I keep saying, you don't understand. I don't know what is running things right now, but this is more serious than you can ever imagine. Yeah, I'd like to be funny and all that jazz, but if you are that, you go to New York and you're allowed to. There's a video I watched today. The guy is online in like one of the pharmacies, CVS or something. And the guy goes in, he grabs a case of something off the shelf and just tries kook. And there's a long line. They're all watching him and they leave. And they're telling the person behind the counter, like, well, we're not allowed to call the police because I'm like, are you?
Right.
But this is what New York has come.
Right.
LA has come. And if you don't think that is an agenda,
right,
you better, there's some serious stuff going down. I don't know what's coming, but this is not a time to take away guns, which is why I think they're trying to take away the guns. And that spooks me. Whenever they're trying to take away guns, that spooks me more, because to me, they're planning something that's so demonic and so evil. And see, I think people don't believe in evil. That's the problem. They think, oh, America would never. We're the best. We are so brainwashed that whatever runs the show has got your back, when it's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. And you see the Matthew McConaughey thing? What?
Yeah. What cracked me up was like it was like an acting job, but like, because he has a Southern accent, which is cool. But the one part he goes, family values. He goes, American values. And I'm like, bro, your accent's not that. Like, that part stuck out to me as the fakest part. And it sucked because that was the only part I agreed with. So I'm like, the part that I actually agree with, you're clearly like acting, like overacting.
And
that's too bad.
Not only that, like, was he at a green screen? Where was he supposed to be?
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying though with some Biden speeches, because sometimes it's like they have a White House background, but it's clearly like a fake windows and stuff. Where I'm like, if you're not at the White House, I get it, but like, why pretend? That it's adding fuel to like the theories, because it's like that's there's been times where it's like confirmed that it is some sort of screen, but it's like, why? I don't know. Can't you just put up an American flag and make it look somewhat normal?
Right. And this one, I was like, it looks like he's at the presidential podium.
Right.
To me, this clown show can't get any goofier. This is Matthew McConaughey. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't like Matt. I did not. I was not a fan until he started doing movies. He started doing that detective show, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's real. And he had a stretch of movies, so I was like, whoa, I'm starting to like Matthew McConaughey.
Right.
And he'd do his. Hey, God bless him, talented guy. But after I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. They must have this guy in a basement with a ball in his mouth. They already did the computer imagery of him, and they're like, all right, we're blasting him out. We got to do this, and we got to do that. I felt like saying, you know what, Matt? I'll do the speech for you. You know what we have to do? We have to stop sending money to another country. We have to stop saying we're running out of supplies. I want the reasons why we're running out of supplies. Where are they? Are they how can we get more supplies? Do we need more farmers? Do you need us to all volunteer to do something? You know, I would have more respect if they came out and they said, all right, here's the situation. Because in the beginning, if you remember, they said our supplies were on boats, and the boats are out to sea and they can't dock. You're like, what? What are you talking about? I said, okay, well, whether you hate Trump or not, I think I have an idea, and I could take the two most hated groups and put them together. Those Trump boat parades were pretty damn impressive, whether you liked them or not. They would be like 10 miles long, all different size boats. I didn't see any Biden boats. I'm just saying I never saw a Biden boat. You see these Trump take half of the Trump parade and put all the Trump haters and all the Biden lovers, put them on the boats together, give them some weed and some booze. And you can't talk politics, and go get our supplies. Go get our supplies. I just offered something, and I offered to get transgenders instead of marching in the street. Get on a damn paddleboard.
Teach RuPaul how to drive a boat. You know, she'll go get it.
Exactly. Go get our shit. It's to me, it's just distractions. That's all it is.
They're lying so much, it's hard to really tell what's really going on. That's the issue when they talk about, all these people have these theories. It's like the reason is because you guys are so dishonest. You make, someone who's like just guessing look more honest, because at least they're authentically guessing. I wanted to say about the CVS thing. I actually used to work there, funny enough, when I was like a teenager. And that was actually the policy even back then, even without state rules. They said, hey, if somebody steals something, just let them walk out. And I think the reason was political correctness was already starting to seep in. So, say you falsely accuse someone or honestly accuse someone, maybe they can accuse the company of racism. And the company figured out, you know what, a couple $100 lost or a couple $1 million lost is better than like a $20 million lawsuit. So they used to tell us that same thing. They're like, if people walk out, just let them steal it. And I couldn't figure out why, but now I get it. That's like the whole HR, like, everything's racist, sexist, xenophobic, people can sue. There's stories of people like robbers, like falling into houses, like stealing stuff and then suing the house for getting injured and like somehow winning. Like it's such a crazy world.
And this is why I enjoy Florida. There's a guy, it's literally like, there's this guy, he's a sheriff. And he
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
He's the man.
He's like, if you break into a home, then that homeowner has every right, and I encourage them to shoot you dead. It will save taxpayers money. And what baffles me, if anyone's like, oh my God, that's really like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's cater to the criminal. Like, what do you think they're coming in to talk politics? But back to Matthew McConaughey, and back to what I call the circus. I believe a lot of it leads to this video that you showed that I thought was, which again, it's just, you know what it is? It's like a crowd of people comes up and they go, hey, how come the gas prices are almost $8? What do you mean we got no support? What the hell? Abortion rights. They go right that way. Like,
right, the new thing.
Hey, we're not into that abortion thing. Mass shooting, gun run! They're running that way. Like, how stupid can you be not to see this anymore? Play clip number 2. Before you even say this, before you do it, Mike, before you do it, if these people in power, and all of them are animals, all of them, if you think you're their best interest, I want you to answer this great clip that An0maly, am I saying An0maly right?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Okay. That An0maly posted. Play clip number 2. This is exactly what I mean.
Within the same day these headlines ran, the United States Congress voted yes to send $40 billion to a proxy war in Ukraine and voted no to $48 billion to help pandemic-stricken restaurants and US businesses. Let's do some math. At one point they said 100,000 restaurants were wiped out due to the evil lockdown politics of the COVID authoritarian regime. How much could $40 billion do to the 100,000 restaurants that were wiped out? It's $400,000 per restaurant. That would be enough to get a lot of them started again. But your Congress is so corrupt that they don't even seem to care about you. You're the taxpayer. You give them money so they could give it to puppets, weapons contractors, and in many cases themselves. So yeah, just like, I think early in the pandemic, they said 100,000 restaurants were wiped out. And then I was like, let me do the math, because like 1 million is, a lot of money. 1 billion, it's like 1,000 million. I always say that. I mean, I know it's math, but it's like 1,000 millions. You got 40 of those. How much could that have done for the restaurants? And I'm like, wow, 400,000, which is probably enough to restart most of them. But, they just don't care, I guess.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever I see someone in a Ukrainian flag, my forehead boils. My forehead boils from the lack of just thoughtfulness. Like because if you ask anyone, like, well, Russia is, oh my God, oh my God. So it's okay to take my money, your money, everyone's money. This is what blows my mind. When are we gonna do something about this? Because there's talking and talking and talking, and I don't know what the answer is. But just imagine someone comes to your house, boom, 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 and you open the door like, "How much money did you make this week?" Give me 20%. Well, what's it for? Taxes, for like, you got to do the roads, and we got to make lights for the roads, and we got to build hospitals and send money to Korea to help them fight a war because there's biotechnical weapons we've been working on for the last 20, 30 years. And Biden's son and Pelosi's son and 2 other guys have been bedded in there funneling money out of, but we need it. And you're not allowed to don't worry where we're taking your money and sending it to.
Right.
How are we falling for this system for centuries? It's centuries now. It baffles my mind. I don't know if we're all discovering this now and there will be a revolt. And I don't know what the revolt is. It'd be amazing, nonviolent, if the entire country just decided, we're not paying taxes. I don't know what to tell you. We're just not doing it. I don't think anyone has the balls to do that. But if enough of the LGBTQ2 and the guns and the rights for this and the prides for that and the abortion for this and you care for the trees and the environment, if enough of you bananas got together and said, why are we giving money and we're not allowed to say where it goes? That is just the most common sense question, in my opinion. And at the same time, complete lunacy that it still exists. It's weird.
John McAfee had the balls to not pay, but John McAfee, he was like running around talking shit on his boat and stuff, not paying taxes. But I don't think people care about it. What I noticed is like right-wing people, libertarians for sure know about it, which is a small amount of people. Conservatives, I feel like, in my opinion, a lot of them pretend to care about it, but the left doesn't care about it at all because they want the taxes to be raised. And even if you get a Republican in office like Trump, who's very likable, very funny to conservatives, and he starts printing trillions of dollars in the name of COVID, and I raise my hand and say, hey, this is like kind of socialism, right? People get mad at me. So it's like this sports team thing, like you're saying, like, abortion, this, that, they get, and then it's like, oh, well, yeah, those are my values, but I like that guy, so I'm going to pretend like it didn't happen. And when you get to the people that genuinely can say, like you're saying, this is Amazon, if they don't do good service, I know they're a little corrupt, but or you could say very corrupt, but their service is great. They'll bring you a package the next day for $10. No, it's crazy. If they didn't do that, they wouldn't be able to last. They have money coming in and going out. The government takes our money every year. They don't care if they waste $40 trillion because they're coming for our money. So the whole system is based on like a real big theft and a scam. But when you say this, the problem is nobody cares. You know, I would say the amount, like even in conservative libertarian space, when I talk about this type of stuff, people are just like, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather go like listen to Trump. And, you know, like it's like a big sports game for people.
It's a sports game. It's the Roman Empire. It never left. It just moved. It just moved and expanded. They get tired of that Colosseum. They got tired of like, all right, they're getting mad of us actually enslaving people. So can't we come up with a new wave to enslave them without them knowing they're enslaved? I mean, come on. We'll create baseball and football. We'll keep them happy. We'll make corn dogs. People will be happy. Right. Weren't you, by the way, if I remember, in the middle of things, did they like cut your video? I remember they either banned you or they took down one of your videos or they flagged your video. And it was so funny. This had to be at least a year ago because you went, this is hilarious. I put up the actual fact video from wherever it was from, and they said misinformation, but you're like, but I'm showing you what they aired. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I've got demonetized. I've had my reach cut, and I'm not saying this like I don't ever make mistakes, but I make sure I really don't because I know how they work. So every time I've been fact checked, it's been like 6 times. They've always been wrong. I want to tell you a recent time. So I talked about this fictional monkeypox simulation they did in Munich.
Oh yeah. I saw that recently, and they were like, yeah, go ahead.
They rated it false. So I found the fact checker. I emailed them and I complained, and they sent me an email back. And basically what they said was technically, you know, that Instagram video wasn't false, but it led people to a Facebook thing. And we looked at your Facebook and they started putting up Instagram comments and saying, well, you misled people to say this in your comment section. Oh, you mean the thousands of comments I get on a daily basis? Now I'm responsible for everybody's opinion. And they said, you know, you said that, you know, they do this thing to plan a response. And I'm like, that's exactly what they do. Like they do fictional simulations to like the same reason you would do a fictional simulation as a nurse before you do the real one, because you want to be prepared. Like no one's pretending that's even like if you believe that they're amazing people, it's like, yeah, you want to practice just in case something bad happens, you're prepared. That's all I said in the video. And they're acting like that's wrong, even though it's on their website. So it's so frustrating because they can punish me, put a flag, take my stuff away, even when they're 100% wrong. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they look like. Clearly, they're not like smarter or better than me or something where it's like they walk in the room, they're like, you know, the Halo music starts playing, like it's like the fact checker's here. And you're like, my man, you know, like, God bless, you know, like someone's so impressive that you're like bowing down. Like they probably look like the guy from South Park that eats too many Hot Pockets, you know, like the one.
You know, and that is, I don't know if this is true. So fact check me. Yeah. I don't know if this is true, but I heard, I don't know, it was a video I saw where the fact checkers, you can sue them for what they did to you. And you can sue for them for lost income.
Wow.
For trauma. For whatever they did that made you look bad,
right? And
either I'm just starting to hear this, and I don't know if it's true, but if it's true, woo, it's gonna start quite a ruckus with a lot of people because people like yourself, where maybe some of your following is cut out, or they put those nonsense posts. I, in the beginning, would make videos. I didn't say it, but just because I would say the word, you know, COVID, immediately it was like, fact, this guy's dangerous. I wouldn't be living
Right. I know Candace Owens filed a lawsuit against the fact checkers. I think it's still in court, and I think that's the biggest one. So I don't know what happens. But I would love to go. I'm not a litigate person, however the hell
Me
you
either.
say that,
Me
but it's
either.
like I can prove every single time it's hilarious. Every time they fact check me, they're 100% wrong, and I made no factual errors. So I know in court it wouldn't hold up. I would love to see the day where I get to see these people and have a conversation. So Candace definitely put a big lawsuit on them, and I'm not sure if it's done yet, but who knows? I haven't really stuck up with it.
And what people need to understand by that, the word fact checker, a really nice word for dictators, communism, and taking over. And the more if you just say, every time you see fact checked on a post, think of this voice. The following does not go with our orders, and it's our facts and regulations and rules and regulations.
Right.
We have our own ways that we want you to think. So please go to the next post. Thank you very much. And just for the fact, the Nazis never gave up. They did come to America, and that is a fact. We brought them over here, and something tells me they're still doing very well. They just don't wear little mustaches, and they don't want one Aryan nation. Well, maybe they do. That I don't know. That's another whole debate.
And they don't care, real quick, like they don't care about all facts. Like if I said like a plant is a spaceship, like an ant, like the animal is the president of Nicaragua, like no one's gonna care about any, like a light isn't real, it comes from Pluto, my wall is like a tulip.
Right.
You can just say like any sort of nonsense there. It's only like criticism of big pharma, criticism of the president right now and certain politicians, that's really all it is. So it's like, I love just saying funny stuff like that. I'll be like, I am a harmonica, and it's like, they don't, you can say the dumbest thing and they're never going to fact check it because they don't care. It's just like,
I know,
social agenda.
And it's almost like they're sleeping. They get zapped if they hear certain words. They're just sitting there, and all of a sudden they hear big pharma. Big pharma. Oh, it's that damn An0maly guy again. Look at this son of a bitch has been keeping me busy for the last 5 months. That's real
facts. Fact check. True. Very true.
Unbelievable. So speaking of the fact checks, now. I don't care, Republican, Democrat. I don't care. This was a great video that you posted too. And again, sometimes I don't know if it's all. I think politics is one big professional wrestling. I really do. It's professional wrestling theater, and people don't want to believe it. And I said they'll get away with it as long as people still believe professional wrestling is real. Watch this video, number 3, about disinformation. It's Rand Paul that you posted.
I think you've got no idea what disinformation is, and I don't think the government's capable of it. Do you know who the greatest propagator of disinformation in the history of the world is? The U.S. government. Are you familiar with McNamara, the Pentagon Papers? Are you familiar with George W. Bush and the weapons of mass destruction? Are you familiar with Iran-Contra? I mean, think of all the debates and disputes we've had over the last 50 years in our country. We work them out by debating them. We don't work them out by the government being the arbiter. I don't want you guardrails. I want you to have nothing to do with speech. You think we can't determine, speech by traffickers is disinformation? You think the American people are so stupid they need you to tell them what the truth is? You can't even admit what the truth is with the Steele dossier. I don't trust government to figure out what the truth is. Government is largely disseminating disinformation.
All right, Rand Paul, tell them how you really feel.
I want to believe Rand Paul is a good guy. I want to believe, and whether he is or not, I'm on that. If it's professional wrestling, I like that character. I like that character. Huge fan of him. I like that guy, Jim. Is it Jordan?
Jordan, yeah.
Love that guy.
Thomas Massey's a good one too. There's sometimes bills will pass. It's like 420 people vote yes, 1 person votes no. And it's this guy from Kentucky, Thomas Massey, and everyone gets mad at him. But I'll read the legislation. I'm like, oh, he's right. And that's when it really starts feeling like wrestling. I agree with you 100%, by the way. But it's like, everybody voted wrong except for one guy. Like, it's trippy. I'm like, wow, like, what are they doing behind closed doors? Like, paying them? Like, like, something's got to be going on for everyone to be wrong about something and then one person to be right. It's crazy.
It's really bizarre. And then what I have really close friends, and their thought process is they join a team and they stay on the team, and that's whatever it is, what it is. But they're great people, and I try to avoid at all costs. They're the ones that always try to bring up politics. Like, hey, wait, we're not going there. We're not going there. We're not going there because I can bring you so far back in the layers that we got to start there if we're going to talk about this, that, and that. And what boggles my mind is, again, I say all media. People forget, yes, even people that love Fox News, they're owned by Disney. Disney is an agenda-driven, whatever it is. I don't know if they're government owned, if they're pure evil owned. I do know at one point when
Mickey Mouse does a lot of cocaine and just runs the show over there. So I'm just kidding. He's real. It's like that South, like, get in line. Yeah. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, dude, okay, I'm sorry.
And you have Goofy and Pluto. Okay, Mickey. Okay. Those, they are, she comes over and she goes, I feel so bad for my parents. They're just so angry because they watch Fox News. And I go, listen, so should they be watching the other news channels? And she goes, well, they're like real, like they're more real than Fox. And you really think that the other name one? She's like, I think CNN is pretty legit. And I tried so hard not to belly laugh, and why I enjoy this clip number 4 where someone just throws it on the line. If you think, I'm going to say 2 things about CNN, and you tell me a rabbit hole about CNN and the evil that is absorbed at that place. Play tip number 4 that An0maly put up.
Hi, thank you for coming. My name is Christopher Phillips. I'm a first year at the college. My question is for Mr. Seltzer. You've all spoken extensively about Fox News being a purveyor of disinformation, but CNN is right up there with them. They pushed the Russian collusion hoax. They pushed the Jussie Smollett hoax. They smeared Justice Kavanaugh as a rapist, and they also smeared Nick Sandmann as a white supremacist. And yes, they dismissed the Hunter Biden laptop affair as pure Russian disinformation. With mainstream corporate journalists becoming little more than apologists and cheerleaders for the regime, is it time to finally declare that the canon of journalistic ethics is dead or no longer operative? All the mistakes of the mainstream media, and CNN in particular, seem to magically all go in one direction. Are we expected to believe that this is all just some sort of random coincidence, or is there something else behind?
Thanks, son. That was cold.
I mean, again, they're the most disgusting, most vile human beings in existence. I've been on every news channel there is. I know every vanity sucking. Will this get me into the restaurant? Will this get me? They don't even know what they're talking about. You have the little chick that they're trying to get in the pants going, okay, make sure you hit these points really hard. You'll see it on the screen. Who's writing on the screen that they're reading? Where do those scripts come from? They all come from somewhere, and then they get what I call the vanity whores to
Right.
present them, and all the seals come to play the flipper, and they believe it. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Have you ever
And-
seen the clip of Jimmy Kimmel where it was when Trump had James Comey in office, and they were talking about how bad James Comey was, and they said Trump just fired James Comey, and the audience starts applauding because they were just told how bad he was, and within 30 seconds, Jimmy Kimmel's like made a few like jokes and was like, no, and then it got him to boo. Like within 30 seconds, they go from cheering to booing, and they're like, wait, do we hate him? No, we like him, or I was like, wow, that's like that should be displayed in colleges and psychology like classes, fascinating.
Jimmy Kimmel I lost. I don't even want to mention his name. It's just I think of that and I go, I just instantly it's like just out of my whatever. Kimmel. What does any? I mean, whatever. Does anyone still watch any of those shows going, I can't wait to put my programming on at 11 o'clock. Watch this guy be funny.
Right.
They're all part of the clown show. They're all part of the puppet masters. Master of puppets pulling strings. God. That's all they are. Oh, shoot. Right. Am I allowed to do that, Mike? Was I allowed to just say that one little thing? Hey, I'm friends with them. They'll let me go.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
We'll be all right. So I just got to say, I hope you keep putting out there what you put out there, because you say it in such a sensible way. You get common sense. You're super talented. You make me laugh. And is this your new gig? Is this what your life is now? It's got good enough. Whatever it is, income or whatever. We don't want to talk income, but just, is this where you see your life is now? And how many times a week do you do this? Is this a once a week thing? Is it like a day, or whenever you feel sporadic to do it?
Yeah, I do it almost every day now, because it's been like 3 or 4 years where I got to do this full time, and I have different streams of income, music, this, like all the things, Patreon. So it's been great. I like it. It's fun. I'm getting a lot. I appreciate that you say I make you laugh, because like when I made you laugh and like Roseanne laugh, that's when I feel good. I'm like, oh man, someone really funny laughed at me. All right, I must be getting pretty good here. No, but I've been doing it full time, and I would say recently, because when you were talking to them about the news, there's that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And I think a lot of like truthers and people that have common sense just drive themselves crazy, because it's like, it's so simple. How are you not getting this? So I'm joking more because it makes it more tolerable. You've probably been doing that your whole life. And, now I'm also kind of talking about like self-accountability and, community, where it's like, at the end of the day, you can't save everybody else. You just got to have fun with it, do the best you can do. And it's been a lot more tolerable, because I think the 4 years, like, you learn every time something crazy happens, and it's almost like the same story on loop. The clown show is getting redundant, so it's not even like that crazy anymore. When something happens, I'm like, oh yeah, that already happened 7 times the last 3 years. Like it's like a 8 o'clock like show, like Wheel of Fortune. Like, oh yeah, it's May, yeah, that's something crazy is going to happen, and they're going to yell at them, and they're going to print money, and they're going to send money to Ukraine or Saudi Arabia. Never ends.
It's complete madness, but I cannot encourage it. The Instagram is Dream Rare, or is that An0maly? It's Dream Rare, right?
Dream Rare, yeah, on Instagram.
All right. Well, I'm telling everyone, I'm telling you, did people say, where do I get my sanity? A lot of times it is going on Instagram and watching your clips on Dream Rare, at Dream Rare, An0maly. You're on everywhere. You're on Patreon, TikTok, wherever. Right. I found you on Instagram, and I'm telling you, everyone, you got to check. I hope they check you out, because I love what you're doing. I hope you continue. You make my life a little better, and that's where we're at. It's just exposing common sense. It's exposing truth, whatever you're emotionally tied to. If you're emotionally tied to being a conservative or emotionally tied to being liberal, I tell everyone, why do you have to categorize? Why can't you just say, I'm so and so, and this is how I feel. And when they say that, they're like, "Yeah, you're on that team." No. I don't play team ball, bro. I play individual ball called just my own thought process. And I can't wait for the rest of the world to start thinking that way. And I will tell you, you had, which we didn't have time to pre-do, but I'm going to play this. We'll play it in post. You have a great video. I forgot who the guy was. It was a little while back, how he basically said how it's all rigged and pre-planned.
The taxes continue. The growth of government continues. The deceptions continue on every front. We continue to lose our national sovereignty. The banks continue to run everything. And so we get to choose between two sides of the same issue. I mean, nothing changes, but we're led to believe, there's the illusion. We're led to believe that if we choose one side or the other, somehow we're going to be determining our own political destiny. But it's all pre-planned. And I'm just here to say that over the years, I've come to realize that quite often the people who are offered to us as opposition leaders are not opposition leaders. They're there to pretend to be opposition leaders to make sure that a real one doesn't come along.
Right.
Yeah, this happens all the time.
As early as 1928, the communists declared that the racial differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric.
Meaning they present to you who they want to present to you. There is no me and you are going to run for office and all of a sudden we're there. That I know for a fact. And, most of my friends consider themselves Republican or whatever. I have a lot on both sides. But I got news for all of you. I know for a fact in the state of New Jersey right now, someone that's running for office, a young kid who dropped his whole life to run for the Republican Party because he wants to help the youth, and he's scared to see the direction it's going, and he feels his conservative values should be put out there by a young guy. And he was approached by the head of the Republican Party, and they asked him not once but twice to step aside. The second time they offered him money. Why? Because he's a threat, and it's not who they want in the big picture. So be careful, everyone. Be careful of the clown show. I can't thank you enough for hanging out today. I really appreciate what you do out there. I'll hit you up on the Instagram like I've been and direct message you. And I really appreciate you coming out, man. I love what you're doing, bro.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Take care. You as well. That guy, I'm telling you, check him out. On Instagram, it's Dream Rare. And overall, it's An0maly. He raps. He's good. He's really good. I'm not a rap guy. Rapping puts me to sleep. That's just me. I can introduce rappers to hard rock and metal, and they'll be like, whoa. So it's whatever you like. But at the end of the day, please know, all of you that have common sense, and all of you that know there's something serious going on, you're correct. And we're not in a show. This is really going down. And how much longer are we putting up with it? That's a question you have to ask yourself. And what will we do? I don't know. Financially crush them? Whatever business promotes something. Listen, I know it's Pride Month, but I don't celebrate Pride Month. I don't celebrate Pride anything. And I think the last thing we should be celebrating is like your sexuality. That's just ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. Why don't we celebrate in Pride how many lives you have helped, how many lives you have saved, how many people you have inspired in your life to be a better human being, to help the world as one, to nurture a soul. We're nurturing sexuality? I'm sorry. You can have your opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. And that's just the way it is. If you don't like it, just don't listen. Don't watch. That's the way life is. But it's time to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's ridiculous. We know our common sense. We know where our heart lies. We know our intentions. And we know there's something pure evil going on. And it's not good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for our children. They're confusing them. They're confusing their sexuality. I saw a kid in Sarasota. He was clearly a boy. Big kid. He had to be like 6'3". He had dark eyeliner on, blue hair, and he's grown boobs. What kind of sick society have we come where we don't talk to people when they're confused and we just say, yeah, cut it off and inject yourself with hormones? You know how dangerous that is? You know how dangerous that is? They just want money. They want to crush your family. They're laughing in our faces. It is an agenda. Don't think for 1 second it's not. Matter of fact, An0maly has a great video on there where he shows the corporations here as they show, you know, hey, we're all for this and that. And then they show the European ones, and it's totally different. Stick to your morals. You know what's right. And don't let anyone push you. They've pushed me hard. I just smile right back at them. Because you know in your heart what's right. Go talk to someone that you haven't spoken to today for a while, that you miss, that you love, and spread love. Spread love. If you see someone where you don't agree with and you discuss, I see someone with a mask still, I go, oh my God, that poor thing is still petrified. If I see someone changing their gender, I go, oh my God, this poor thing doesn't know what they are. And they're not even 22 years old yet. They're not even 15. Good God Almighty. Their poor souls, their poor hearts. It's all right to be confused. But to rush things and just do what is going on here and promote it. It's time. It's time. Stick to your morals. Spread love. And check out An0maly. Check out Dream Rare. Thanks for hanging out today. Go to jimbreuer.com. I do have some merch on the way. We'll talk about that soon. We have some really cool guests on the way that I'm super excited about. I may have a big show announcement for September. And yeah, I'm going back to the Paramount Long Island. And I wish you all the very best. I love you guys, man. I see your comments, good and bad, all that shit. You didn't tell me my hair looked crazy on this whole podcast, Mike. I'm a little disappointed in that. I wish you.
Dude, it always looks good, man, regardless if it looks bad or not.
Looks a little kooky right here, man. What is that? What is that? What happened there? You didn't tell me. Just to let me hang like that. All right, you guys be good, Mike. Good seeing you. All the best, and we'll catch up soon. God bless, and thanks for hanging out in the Breuniverse.
Take a look around and what do you see? One day down tonight, we're making history.
Hey, this is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live comedy concert streamed once a month. Weekly, you host your own podcast and you interview me. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and I have bonus footage and bonus segments, and you get to access my last comedy special, Somebody Had to Say It. There's a lot there. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.